Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with an update video. We'll go through some of the feedback, some of the comments on yesterday's video, have a bit of a chat about those. Sorry today for the view. I don't have the fantastic Atlantic Ocean views that I have had in other videos. I apologize for that. We've come to the beach today. The family's on the beach there, and the beach today is crowded. So I've come to a more secluded place in order to record the video and not have people in my face. It's also very, very windy today. That's why I've got the cap on, because I'm at that stage in life where one strong gust of wind can take my hair completely off. So I have to be careful about that nowadays, hence the cap. So what's been going on? Well, today it's all about Madrid, and it's all about the government coming out, or the chief health officer coming out and saying that things are not going well. Finally admitting that the statistics are not what they should be, and not before time. The case numbers have been going up and up and up and up. And of course, people again worried about the health situation in Spain. And of course, Madrid is one of the worrying places in Spain at the moment, because we saw the problems that that particular autonomous community had back in March, April, May. It's where the virus most got out of control. And of course, health officials now again worried that Madrid is going to be the problematic area in Spain. And case numbers in Madrid are going up in particular areas of the community and particular areas of the city. And the health situation not looking good, particularly in those southern neighborhoods, in those working class areas in the south of the city. If you've ever been to Madrid, you'll know that there's quite a difference between the north and the south. The north is very upper class, the south working class, and a lot of people who are testing positive at the moment in those working class neighborhoods in the south of the city and the southern parts of the community. Some of those southern satellite cities which have big populations, Móstoles and places like that. So a bit worrying there, and also worrying because a lot of people are not in Madrid at the moment. Madrid's a city that's virtually empty in August, and lots of people go to holiday destinations, people go to the coast, people go to their villages, to their towns, because Madrid is a city where a lot of people come in to work in the city. People from the Castillas, people from other regions in Spain come to Madrid to work, of course, because it is one of the places in Spain where you can find work. But as I said, August is a time where a lot of people leave the city, they go off to another destination, and of course they all come back at the beginning of September. So that's what the government is worried about, in my opinion. When all of those people come back to the city, when kids start going back to school, when people start going back to work, when the public transport starts to fill up again, that's when it's going to be a problem. And that's most likely the reason why Mr. Simon came out yesterday and said we have a problem. Now, I'm in Portugal at the moment, and I'm seriously thinking about staying here for as long as I can. I don't want to go back to Madrid for two reasons. Number one, I don't really like Madrid a lot. I'm the type of person that likes the coast. I like the cooler weather. Madrid in August and July is a very hot city, very dry, and I like to escape, which is one of the reasons why I come here. Fortunately, nowadays I can work from home, so I don't have the problem of having to get on public transport, so I'm not necessarily worried about that. But I don't really want to go back to a city where the health situation is going to be out of control, and of course some type of confinement could be implemented, so not looking forward to that. So I'll try to stay here for as long as I can, but I don't know how long that's going to be. So I've changed the backdrop here. Now I've got the local football stadium in the background. Looks to have seen better days, but it's probably a second or third division team, so no need to have a flash stadium. Now, as I was saying, the country's on holidays at the moment. Cities like Madrid virtually empty, and other cities, of course, in the interior region. And if you're living in Spain down on the coastal areas, if you're in Valencia, Alicante, Malaga, you'll know that there are lots and lots of people from the interior parts of Spain there at the moment. If you're in Cádiz, lots of people come from Seville. If you're in Malaga, lots of people come down there from Córdoba, also from Madrid and other places around the country. And if you're in the north of the country, you'll know that lots of people also travel to that part of the world from cities like Madrid. So a big influx of tourists, local tourists this year, of course, because the international numbers have been cut back. But you will notice that there are lots and lots of people about the place this year. Lots and lots of Spaniards traveling around. And of course, they're all going to go back to their cities. They're all going to go back to their towns. And that's when we could have an even bigger problem. But why are you going to worry people in August? Let them enjoy their holidays and deal with the problems in September, which is the normal thing to do in Spain. Now, the international press is really getting stuck into Spain at the moment. Articles in the Financial Times, articles in the Washington Post, criticizing the way that Spain is handling the situation. asking questions about what's going on, where the government has been, the fact that they have been missing in recent times, so copying a lot of criticism in the international press, and you get the impression that people just don't trust what's going on in Spain. People can't understand why numbers are on the increase after what Spain went through in the earlier months of the year, and of course it is a question a lot of people are asking themselves, and of course people in Spain are also asking the same questions. Was the lockdown worth it? Did we open up too soon? What's the reason for case numbers increasing? Why is everybody wearing a mask but case numbers go up? Those are the questions that people are asking. And to be honest, they're questions that we need answers to. A lot of speculation, but we don't really get any definite answers about these questions. Now, some news that broke yesterday was that a judge in Madrid has annulled the decisions by the Madrid government to ban smoking and also to ban food consumption on public transport. A judge came out and overturned those decisions, saying that they were not constitutional, I believe, and the government doesn't have the power to put in restrictions of that nature. I think he said that without a state of alarm in place, the government doesn't have the power to implement bans on smoking and also wearing masks in public spaces. That was also called into question. And of course, the Madrid government now is scrambling, and the central government is now scrambling to deal with this latest blow to their public policy and restrictions. So we'll see where this ends up. And of course, a lot of these restrictions have been quite criticised by the public. The smoking ban in particular, I don't know. Are these measures too draconian? Well, that's what that judge obviously seems to think. Not constitutional and a violation to people's rights. So what does it mean that the central government's going to have another state of alarm in order to get these laws passed? I don't know. We'll wait and see. Again, September is going to be an interesting month, in my opinion, in Spain. And of course, the other day we spoke about some of the pros and cons of living in Spain. I mentioned that a video that I did a few months ago had really taken off in recent times, obviously because a lot of people are getting that video recommended to them. Lots of people still interested in coming to live in a place like Spain or in a place like this here, Portugal. And the question I posed were, are they still attractive countries? Is Spain still an attractive country? And a lot of people said yes, for retirees. From a work point of view, forget about it. If you're thinking of coming to Spain and looking for a job, might not be the best decision. But of course, if you are retired and you want to spend a few years in the sun, Spain, of course, is still a good place to come and live. And this country here, Portugal, I would also recommend Portugal as a destination for people to come and live if, of course, they don't have to depend on the local economy. And I will be doing a few videos in the next few weeks about that topic, the pros and cons of living in Spain and the pros and cons still of coming to live in a country like Portugal. So stay tuned for those. But I think in general, a lot of pros are still the same, a lot of cons are still the same as the ones I mentioned earlier in the year. Somebody talked about customer service and how bad that is in Spain. I think they talked about the company El Corte Inglés and a bad customer experience they had with that particular company. And that is one of the main gripes people have, customer service. If you ever have to deal with these big companies in Spain, the telecommunications companies, the Telefonicas, always a bad experience. Vodafone is terrible in Spain. The gas companies, the electric companies, all of those companies don't provide good customer service. And of course, another con is the economy. And unfortunately, that's going to be an even bigger con given the current economic state of Spain and the economic state of this country here, Portugal. And the question is going to be, how long is it going to take countries to recover? Now remember that Spain is not the only country that's had its economy decimated by this latest crisis. There's lots of places around the world in a similar situation. We saw a couple of weeks ago just how much some countries' GDPs have crashed. And of course, everything's going to depend on how long it takes countries to recover. As we saw back in 2008, some countries recover quicker than others. So the question is going to be, how long is it going to take Spain? Is it going to be like in 2008 where it took a long time, or is it going to be a quick recovery? Time will tell, but I know where I would put my money if I had to bet on the situation. And another con for me would be the disastrous politics and the political situation in Spain. We've seen the way that things have been handled or mishandled in recent times. And of course, that could also be one of the cons of coming to live in a country like Spain. And I also replied to a comment yesterday about learning Spanish. Which are the best areas in the country to learn the language? I said the Castillas, whether it be Castilla y León, Castilla-La Mancha, Madrid as well, Cantabria, Somebody said that you should avoid areas like Valencia or Catalonia because of the regional language aspect there. That could be a bit of a problem, but of course people speak Spanish perfectly in both Catalonia and Valencia, in my opinion. So they could be destinations to learn the language, maybe not for kids, because if you go into the school system, you might have to learn those regional languages and people don't want to do that. But if you're an adult and coming to learn Spanish in Spain, Valencia or Alicante could also be a good option. Is the Spanish spoken there as pure as it is in Valladolid or other places in Castilla and Leon? Don't know, but I'm sure that people in those areas would say that it is. On that note, I'll start to wrap the video up. Questions or comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the situation out as you normally do. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. See you in the next one. Hasta luego.